So what more problems we have in large graphs? One more problem is the detecting clusters. We have some idea what is cluster. If you make clusters, and within the clusters, you should have less distance, and distance between 2 points which are falling in two different clusters, the distance should be more. So that is the simple principle whenever we are doing clustering. So we are taking now graph data. In graph data, how do we find clusters? So first of all, what is the meaning of cluster in a graphical data? So we often think of networks being organized into modules, clusters, communities. Communities already we have seen, the interconnectedness, whatever that it's. Then now we will concentrate on clusters. So here they made some clusters. So how many clusters you see by looking at colors?
Six clusters.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 clusters, right?
Yes, sir.
So what can you find out by looking at why are they becoming clusters? The colored ones. Why other points are not joining with them?
Those points probably might have similar properties within the cluster.
Look at the edges and see what is happening. There are less edges between points falling into two different clusters, right?
Right.
And there are more edges between points falling into the same cluster.
Yes, sir.
So that is the observance we can make. So if you see here, only 3 edges are going from this cluster outside, right? The bottom leftmost you take. How many edges are going from that cluster to outside cluster? Only 3, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
then you have more. So that is the same case in most of the clusters. So we should get some idea that they are looking at how they are interconnected to form a cluster. So if there are more interconnections, then that group is becoming a cluster, something like that, it's in. So micro markets and sponsored sets is giving, where do we apply this or where do we get these problems? Why do we need to find out clusters in a community? Find micro markets by partitioning the query to advertiser graph. So when you are giving online advertisement, one way of giving for all, right, irrespective of all. But if online customized advertise means when a particular person opens a website, only for that person this ad should go. That is called customized advertisement. So online advertisements are all customized advertisements. So find micro markets by partitioning the query to advertiser graph. So if we want to advertise MSIT admissions, will it be a very big market? Or a small market exists in student section? That also, right?
Yes.
So you need to find out that micro market. If you see whole the students, even one market, in that it's a MSIT is very, very tiny, even not even, we may need to reach just 2,000, 3,000 people. That is what we are looking. So maybe it's in India itself, if you take 10 million people, means 1 crore people of PG students are coming out, graduates. In that again, computer science may be something like 50,000, 60,000. All engineering graduates, maybe 1 lakh. In both states, 1 lakh graduates are coming out. So it may be another 10 lakhs all over. In 10 lakhs, we are looking for 3,000 people, right? So how do we find out if there is a connections among all these students? They are connected through Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever that. Within that, can we find out this micro market? So MSIT may be a small thing, but Amazon type of e-commerce websites, when they sell huge number of products, for each product, they need to find out a micro market. so that that ad goes to them only. So we need those clusters. So within the cluster, 1 or 2 people purchase immediately. We can think that because they have connections, they have same habits, whatever that it's, they might be talking the same thing. That is one potential market. So clusters, micro clusters may be the potential markets for advertisers, because the clustering, if that is based on similarity between the same humans, whatever that it's, customers. So if you find clusters, within the cluster, in recommendations also it will be useful. Within the cluster, if somebody purchases something, so we think that the remaining people in the cluster also might be interested, or they will have more interest in such items than other members who are not falling into that cluster. This is another, it's just for fun. People want to see that how, what type of movies actors are making, in which nations, all those things. So movies and actors. So maybe Mexico actors are in a particular type of movies, they might be acting. They may be international actors too. So something they got this huge number of actors, but when they try to get clusters, each actors belongs to each nation are clearly visible as clusters, here at least. There may not be, for some languages or some nations, not huge market or not many actors are available, then you can see their size is also small. In Twitter and Facebook, discovering social circles of trust. So yesterday also we discussed it. Subgroups within the broader groups where as a whole Facebook users, then maybe some family member groups you can find, high school friends groups, then college friends. Then here it is given in the middle. In your links itself, you're trying to see that how many groups are you are part of, how many groups, or how you are connected into different groups. So you may have one group which is college friends, you may have other group which is high school friends. You may also have you may not be directly connected, but from your high school friends, you may also have some connections to family members, because most of the times, let's say at high school level, we will visit homes instead of going out. That is where you get connections even to families. So that is happened here, it's that also we can see here. But these explanations are not that important for a data scientist. What data speaks, that only is important. Let other people draw these things. Why why not college friends? You don't have much connections to families of college friends. By the time you might have moved to different city, families may not stay together with students, all those things, right? Those conclusions is not important for a data scientist. That should be drawn by outside people, sociologists, whatever that it's why it is happening. Unless we are, we want to explain that, or somebody asks that and we put more research, they may be correct, they may be different perspectives to think. There is nothing like this is final, but what data finds that is final. In terms of this, we can say there are more connections for a person. If you go through the family members of classmates, only for high school classmates or high school friends, families are well connected to the students than their college friends. This is the fact. When you try to analyze and what may be the reason, different people may put different perspectives. That may be right, that may not be right. For some other people, they may not think that right. So that is not mathematics or statistics to say. This is just computing, right? How many connections they have. So data science, always they don't come to that point, always draw the conclusions. They'll give facts. or they'll give some what they observed in the data. What makes a good cluster? So if we take undirected graphs, so by looking at this, you can immediately see two clusters, right?
Yes, sir.
Or you can partition people into two groups, divide vertices into two disjoint groups. A, B is nothing but V minus A. Partition always should have an intersection empty set. So by looking at this graph, you can see two partitions based on what? How can we define a good cluster in G? So what makes a good cluster? Maximize the number of within cluster connections, minimize the number of between cluster connections. So again, we are going by edges, right? Because this network, we are defining based on how many connections we have. So that information we need to use to cluster them. Maximize the number of within cluster connections, minimize the number of between cluster connections. So if you take one has how many connections?
3,
3. So within the cluster, how many it has?
2,
Outside the cluster?
1.
So it is maximized in some way. Within the cluster, it has. For each node, it is the same case you see. For 3, 2 inside, 1 outside, right? For
Yes, sir.
2,
There are only 2 and 2 are inside the cluster.
no outside connections. So that's why
Yes,
this
sir.
1, 2, 3, if you want to partition, you can partition based on this 1, 2, 3. So maximize the number of within cluster connections, minimize the number of between cluster connections. Express cluster quality as a function of the edge cut of the cluster. So we'll see what is edge cut. You might have already seen the cut or bridge, something they call it, say in spanning tree. What's minimum spanning tree? When you need to find out it, see which edge. By cutting that, you can make 2 parts, something like that. So here also cut means set of edges with only one node in the cluster. So cut is nothing but one node in that cluster, other node should be in the outside of that cluster. So how many cuts you can find in this graph for cluster A?
2.
2 edges you have, one node in A and other node is outside of that. So set of edges with only one node in the cluster. That is, we can also define in terms, each time we cannot see that it's by plotting the graph and count this. We also need to get how we can compute from graph represented matrix. So cut A is nothing but I belongs to A, J doesn't belongs to A, Wij, the weights. If it is a not weighted graph, for all edges Q, weight 1. So cut A equal to I belongs to A, J doesn't belongs to A, Wij. This works for weighted and unweighted set, all Wij equal to 1 graphs. So you need to take all edges, just sum of those edges which are cuts for that cluster. So these weights may be, again, it's you may have distances, time to travel, different things. It's a weight you may define which suitable for that problem. So you take all the edges of the cluster which are going outside of the cluster, starting from that cluster, going outside. Then all those edges you sum up their weights. That is the definition of cut of A. In this case, it is unweighted graph. Each edge we will give 1. So what is cut A here?
2.
How many edges are going? Only 2 edges. So each we are assigning weight 1 because it is unweighted. You get 2. Cut A equal to 2. Then cut score. Partition quality depends on this cut score. quality of cluster is the weight of connections pointing outside the cluster. So that cut score we are defining for a cluster, how good the cluster is, we will compute this cut score. If cut score is small or optimal, whatever that we'll see now, quality of a cluster is the weight of connections pointing outside the cluster. So if you have more weight, then more good cluster here. Yeah. So degenerate case here, optimal cut, minimal cut. Okay. So if you take the only one point out, what is happening here? What is the cut score for that? In this, yeah. So in this whole thing, if you make this as a one cluster, what is the cut score here? Only one is going out, right? One. So if instead of that, if you make this one as a cluster, then what is cut score here? Cut score?
2.
2. So again, not just we take cut score, maybe it's a for all the clusters, you should get the this cut score optimizer, whatever cluster, not looking at one cluster. Okay, if for that cluster, if it is optimized, it is good. So not like that. You may need to optimize all the cluster cut scores. Only consider external cluster connections, does not consider internal cluster connectivity. So the problem with cut score is we are computing cut score based on just external connections. But how good they are connected within the cluster, we are not looking. So that is a big problem now. How do we also bring out internal connections also should be more, right? We said what is a good cluster?
Which has more number of edges.
Inside, right? And outside, less number of connections. But this cut score is computed only based on external connections. So how do we bring the inside connections also? So that is a problem in this cut score if you use. So criterion, we will use the conductance, which we'll use. Otherwise, it looks like only the minimum cut, whatever you are taking, that looks good because it has cut score only 1, right? If you divide only reds and greens, then your cut score is 2. But all of us know that by looking at this graph, all greens are having more internal connections among themselves than the outside. And some red also, external connections are also only 2. Because of our definition of cut score, we are not considering inside. So we got such a situation where we are not getting good clusters. So we are defining another criteria for this clustering, that is conductance. Connectivity of the group to the rest of the network relative to the density of the group. So how many connections with our inside, that also is considered here. Network relative to the density of the group. Now we are defining another score, not just cut score. This is called conductance score, pi A. That is, Ij belongs to E, I belongs to A, J doesn't belongs to A. That is nothing but these are connections of A, what? Cluster A. What connections these are? Number of number, not I belongs to A and J doesn't belongs to. Ij is an edge, right?
External connections.
These are external connections of A, right? The numerator. Right. Numerator is the external connections. Then denominator, minimum of volume of A or 2m minus volume of A. So don't consider only. So if you make 2 groups, because the remaining 2m minus volume of A will give you the number of edges outside of A. So minimum of whatever you get, whether if here, if you take only this one point, this point is it's internally all are connected because only one is there. But you should also when you are making partition outside, what is happening? So in outside also it should be well connected. Then only they form two clusters. So to avoid that problem, what they are saying means whatever partition you take, this is nothing but it's the denominator is trying to say that volume of A. What is volume of A? Total weight of the edges with at least one end point in A. So volume of A is total weight of the edges with at least one end point in A. That is sigma I belongs to A di. Di is degree of node I. Okay. Then total weight of edges with at least one end point in A, that is nothing but volume of A. Then what is 2m minus volume of A? What is 2m first? M is the number of edges of the graph. What is 2m? Twice the number of edges in the graph, right?
Yeah.
So each edge contribute to, for any node, how many degrees?
1.
2. There are, it means connecting two nodes, right? For first node, it will contribute 1 degree. For other node also, it contribute 1 degree, right? One edge there means the total number of degrees, if you sum up degrees of all the nodes within the graph. Then each edge, twice the number of edges is nothing but your summation of degrees of all the nodes.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. So we'll take this simple graph here. How many edges you have here? 3, 3 plus 2, 8 edges you have, right? So if you sum up degrees of all these 6 nodes, what is the summation of degree of all these 6 nodes compute?
Mm.
2 is having degree 2. So there are 2 nodes with the degree 2 and 4 nodes with the degree 3. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
2 and 6 have degrees 2. Remaining all have degree 3, right? So 2 multiplied by 2 is 4 plus 4 multiplied by 3, 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. So is it twice the number of edges?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is what here, because you are computing degree, this volume of A is as the degree of volume of A is the degree of the, this sentence might be overstated, total weight of the edges with at least one endpoint. So you need to take all the edges and instead of DI, they're asking you to just compute the weights. But it's okay. When unweighted graph, it is simply the number of degrees of each node it has. So sigma I belongs to A, DI. So all the, some may be inside edges, some may be outside edges also here. Because degree of nodes belongs to I is how many edges it is, how many edges it has, right? We are not saying that it should be within, inside, outside. Okay, then I belongs to a DI you are doing. Then if you make total degree is 2m, then how many you are left out, right, in total degrees? Then half of the edges are outside. Half of the edges are some edge, second node is outside of that. So that is 2m minus volume of A. So here, which one will become in this, let's say, if you divide this by this one, if you divide here as a partition like this, then volume of A becomes more. If the left side is A, then volume of 2m minus volume of A will become, which one will become more there?
Volume of A becomes more.
volume of A becomes more. Because it is almost consuming all the degrees, right? Except just one. So this is nothing but 2m minus 1. So here, this value is 2m minus 1. So these cases will go now. So volume of A is not minimum. So you will take this 2m minus volume of A. So what is 2m minus volume of A in the previous division? Only 1, right?
Yes.
Because volume of A is 2m minus 1. Only 1 degree you are not counting, that's all. So for that, your phi A score will be high or less.
High.
If denominator becomes smaller, phi A will become more. Denominator will become smaller, provided you have a small group which is consuming very few degrees. So this phi A score will be very high, provided your minimum is very small. Minimum of volume of A, 2m minus volume of A. So if your uneven partitions like that will give you maximum value for this, the minimum of. No, this pi A will become, yeah. So when you have a partition which will not make the minimum is more of both, then your pi A score is if denominator is more, pi A score is less. Denominator is more, provided your minimum is more. If your denominator is less, pi A score will be high. That will be based on your minimum is a smaller value or not in both of these two, minimum is small or not. So why use this criterion? So produces more balanced partitions. So if you use this criterion, so we will reduce, we will get, so pi A score should be, this conductance between different clusters should be less or more?
Less.
Less. So pi A should be less. So pi A should be less means you should get that minimum should be more. Minimum of 2 values should be high value, then you will get conductance less. So if you see here, if you compute conductance values for this, okay, pi equal to 2 by 4. How did you get this? What is pi A? Pi A is this definition, right? So I'll make little bit small, then you can see formula also. Compute by this formula. Use this volume of A, sigma I belongs to A di. Here volume of A is more or less. If you take blues one as A for left side, the volume A is more, right?
Yes.
Then what is volume of A here? We don't know what is number. So if we have m number of edges, what is the volume here of A?
M minus 4.
Total degrees is 2m, right? That we know.
2m
How many
minus
degrees are we are leaving out? 3.
4, I think.
You are leaving, yeah, 4
There are
degrees.
two edges.
Yes, yes. 3 is coming from 1 degree is coming from the last element, and before that we are getting 3. So 4 we are leaving out, right? 4 degrees we are leaving out. So that's why you are
2m minus 4.
Yeah. How many edges you have? This is nothing but simply edges from cluster to outside. So how many edges you have here? Cluster to outside? 2.
2.
And how many degrees you left out? 4.
4.
So 2 by 4 is 0.5. So is it having more conductance or less conductance?
More conductance.
Compared with the right side, right? So right side. So right side, they are saying it is 6 by 92. So 6 is easy for us to compute. Am I right? What is this 6?
edges which are going from red cluster to blue.
So that is easy for us to compute.
Yes.
You can say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But it may take time for you to compute this 92, right? So all these edges, you need to get the how many degrees are left out when you consider only A in total. So again, they computed. So I don't want to take more time to compute this. That you can do later. So the important thing is 92 degrees are left out in 2m in reds, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you use this conductance score, then you'll get more balanced partitions. So can you observe that the same thing with this graph?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Where are we? So now this we already did, right? No, this we haven't. Okay. So spectral graph partitioning, graph Laplacian matrix here. That is one way of just partitioning. Now we'll see that how do we find clusters. So then network is given. If this network is given, we can say it. If it is visually presented, then these two are forming a cluster. Then if you take the adjacency matrix, you know, anytime the term heat matrix, heat map.
Heat map we came across.
So they will color the values based on low
Density.
to high values, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
if they are coloring this whole matrix, high values with whatever color they chose here and the low values are whiter, then you can simply see visually wherever high density is there, means high values means higher number of connections among them. So that you can see here. This is one way of visualization of the matrices based on colors. So if you color them, then also you can see that it's wherever the color changes, then you are getting into a new cluster. But anyway, we are not using, I just saw this matrix, that's why I am bringing that analysis. Okay, graph partitioning is task partition the graph into two pieces such the resulting piece have low conductance. So just now we have seen the same thing is saying that to take the low conductance partition. How do we efficiently find a good partition? Okay, then what is the idea? If simply graph is given, okay, we understood that there is a concept of the conductance. So if we make two partitions, then the conductance of both clusters should be small. So such partition will take. So if you have suppose some n number of nodes in a graph, then how do you find that which is the correct partition or good partition? Any idea? What is the brute force approach?
Find conductance for every cut and take the minimal conductance.
That is the NP hard means computationally it is not feasible even if you take so many machines and even if you parallelize the algorithm. That is the meaning of NP hard. Means its complexity is exponential. So if you have nothing, then you need to make two partitions. How many ways you can make two partitions of a set of n elements?
NP2.
No, more than that. NC2 is selecting only 2 elements, right? So you can make one element and n minus 1 elements partitions, right? N minus 1
Okay.
elements into one and one element other side.
Right.
Is
Yes.
one way of doing. Then that can be done in n minus 1 ways or n ways, because one element, which one you choose, right?
Yes.
Then you can make 2 comma n minus 2, 2 one side and n minus 2 other side. NC1 plus, the first one is NC1, which 2 elements you take. Once you select 2 elements, other side is the remaining elements, right?
Yes.
So NC1 plus NC2, 3 one side, n minus 3 other side, means you need to say select 3 elements. So NC1 plus NC2 plus NC3 plus dash 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 NCN, right? Okay, that one element that is not partition, empty set, and the whole number you need to remove even. Okay, but for the purpose of the computing mathematics, what is NC1 plus NC0 plus NC1 plus NC2 plus dash 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 NCN?
2 power n.
2 power n. So is 2 power n exponential?
Yes.
Yes.
The number of partitions you can make is exponential. Then again, you need to compute your conductance for each partition. Then which partition has less conductance, that you need to take, right? That's why it is called computing optimal cut is the NP-ORD. So we should leave out trying out that. If n increases, you see, we are talking about Facebook, then it may have billion nodes. Then 2 power billion, I don't think it's how much of storage you require at least to store those digits. It's a very huge number. So we need to see other methods. Now, one more method is called spectral graph partitioning. You can do still, if your graph is smaller, then you can apply this conductance thing, okay? But if your graph is very big, then it is not feasible to apply the conductance. So then it's lots of mathematical concepts they bring now. We'll see how much you understand. Then the matrix can be represented as an adjacency matrix of undirected graph. A is Aij equal to 1 if Ij is an edge, else 0. You know, right? Adjacency matrix representation of graph. It is n by n matrix. The entries are,
Yes, sir.
if those two nodes have edge, then 1. If there is no edge between those two nodes, ijth entry is nothing but 1 if ith node and jth node have an edge. If there is no edge between I and j, then ijth entry will become 0. That is the adjacency matrix representation of a graph. So Aij equal to 1 if Ij is an edge, else 0. X is a vector in Rn with components x1 to xn. So this is the new one we are taking now. This is not representation or anything. If there are n nodes in the graph, you create a vector of n values x1 to xn. What values we will see? How do we find out these values? Think of it as a label value of each node of G. So for each node, you think you are attaching some value for that. What is the meaning of A dot X? What are these values also we don't know. So we are thinking that it may be label means 0, 1, you may say 0, 0s or 1s. Value means a real value you can give for these x1 to xn. So you assume some value is attached for each G or for each node in G, and that whole values are represented as a vector. So x1 is the value of node 1 in G, x2 is the value of node 2 in G. So x1, x2, xn may be real values, or they are simply binary values 0 or 1 if they are labels. So what is the meaning of A dot X? You can multiply a vector with n by n matrix of size n vector.
Yes.
So if you multiply, you are getting another vector now, because this
Across,
is
yeah.
this. So y1 to yn you get. Okay, yi equal to, because aij's are what? A11s are what? They are simply zeros or ones, right?
Yes.
Because aij equal to 1, here we refine. So these matrix values are either zeros or 1. So yi is nothing but what are you adding here? You look at here. J is equal to 1 to n. Aij xj, right? Yi if you take a11, a11 x1, a12 x2. So this is the y1. So what is y2? A21. What is yn? an1. This nth vector you take in this matrix, multiply with the column vector. So if you see the right side, what are you doing exactly here? What is yi? Aij is 0 or 1s, right? When will be the Aij's at 0?
If there is no connection between I and J.
I and j. So you are computing for the ith vector now, or ith value. In this column vector, resulting column vector, you are computing the ith value. That ith value is nothing but it is summing of all its neighbors values. Neighbors means what? If it has a edge, then we are calling it as a neighbor, right? It is simply summing of all the neighbor values.
Yes, sir.
Aij 0 means there is no connection, right? For
Yes.
I, if there is no connection with j, then you don't compute, you don't add that xj value. If there is a connection, you are adding. Connection means in earlier notation, it is neighbor to I. So you are just simply adding all the values of the neighbors of it. That is nothing but xj, where ij belongs to E. From I, you have edge to j. Then you are summing up those values. Entry yi is a sum of labels xj of neighbors of I. Then what is the meaning of ax? Jth coordinate of ax is sum of the x values of neighbors of j. Then make this a new value at node j. That is nothing but y1 to yn are the new values. After multiplying with this matrix, we are getting new values. New values are summation of neighbors of each node. Then whenever you get a matrix, then you are multiplying ax. Then you are getting new values. That new value you represent as a lambda x, whatever y you are getting. So ax equal to lambda x. Whenever you have matrix, usually it's a linear algebra tells go by the eigenvalues and eigenvectors, which one is having more those things. So now you have a matrix A, then you have another x, then find out lambda such that ax equal to lambda x. Then lambda is called what? Eigenvalues of matrix A. Because we don't know x values also. So we need to find out x1 to xn and lambda also, so that which satisfies ax equal to lambda x. This is a standard procedure whenever we get matrices, finding the eigenvectors and eigenvalues. So analyze the spectrum of matrix representation G. So spectrum is nothing but eigenvectors xi of a graph ordered by the magnitude strength of their corresponding eigenvalues. There may be many such solutions. Ax equal to lambda x which satisfies. So for different pairs of lambda and vector x, you may get. So that if it is n by n matrix, you will get naturally n eigenvectors and n values, but sometimes eigenvectors may repeat provided eigenvalues repeat, because this converted to a polynomial equation. Degree of n polynomial will have exactly n roots, but some roots multiplicity may be more than one. Then distinct roots may change, but number of roots, if you count them as a different root, even if it repeats, then it is exactly equal to n. So n by n matrix will have how many eigenvalues?
N.
N eigenvalues. Some may be same. It's lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n you will write, because if your polynomial equation becomes something like x minus 2 whole square, both eigenvalues are 2 there, because x equal to 2, x equal to 2 are the roots. So usually you'll get n different eigenvalues, provided the matrix itself is the det is not equal to 0, means determinant not equal to 0 or non-singular matrix, you will get n different values. So eigenvectors xi of a graph ordered by the magnitude of their corresponding eigenvalues lambda I. First you get all those eigenvalues, then order them as decreasing or increasing, ordered by the magnitude of their corresponding eigenvalues. Okay, here they are ordering decreasing, right? Lambda 1 less than or equal to lambda 2 means in increasing order they are putting. The first value is the smallest, and second value is the second smallest, like that. This is the getting the spectrum of the matrix A first. So get all eigenvalues corresponding eigenvectors 2. Okay. D regular graph. Suppose all nodes in G have degree D and G is connected. What are some eigenvalues vectors of G? And G is connected. Then Ax equal to lambda x. What is lambda and what is x? He is giving some examples here. Let's try x equal to all ones. Then Ax equal to lambda x, right? You are putting. So that lambda may be D here. All you will get D, D, D. So lambda x, that is. So lambda equal to D here. So if you take x, yeah, go ahead.
What are actually exchanges? I mean, he just mentioned that it's either a label or a value at each node. So what is that? What is that actually?
Is advising us you can have a real value or you can have a label is nothing but to have zeros and ones. That's all it's. In sometimes you are working with something like classification types of problems. You may not have those values. For each node you are attaching its label, suppose.
Okay.
So it will work for both. But label also you cannot write something red, blue. It's you should write label also either 0 or 1. For which you are looking, the value is important or the class is important, that you will put 1. Other things you will put zeros. So it may be anything. It is not based on what you get. Like in HANA, 1-hot encoding also will make all zeros, right? If that is not something. So here also, he said earlier, this x values may be label values or real numbers also you can put. No problem, you can still get lambdas and x. So here is taking simply all x values as 1. If you take all x values of 1, then Ax equal to, if you write lambda x, so lambda equal to D. We found eigenpair of G equal to x equal to triple all ones and lambda equal to D. So this you will get provided your matrix is also 1, 1 means it's a strongly connected graph. That is, you know the definition of strongly connected. Each node will have edge to all other nodes. Then your A matrix also will become ones, right? So A into X also becomes ones in that case. But if you get Ax equal to D, means G have degree D. Suppose all nodes in G have degree D. And not okay. So if you get all nodes have degree D, you should get the neighbors. When you compute the neighbors, you should get D, right? So your Ax equal to, here 1 second to understand this. Okay. So your A matrix, we don't know what is A matrix, but it will have either zeros or ones, right?
Yes.
And you are taking X as simply ones, all or ones. Here, whatever you have, this you are taking X as. Then you are taking Ax, but your assumption is what? Your assumption is, suppose all nodes in G have degree D. then when you multiply AX, whatever vector is you are getting, what is this vector? Just now we tried to understand, right? This vector is the sum of all its neighbors, right? For each node, sum of all its neighbors, right?
Yes, sir.
Sum of all its neighbors means its degree.
D.
Because how many edges it has, that many it has neighbors, right?
Yes.
So how many edges it has, that is the degree of that that node. So if suppose all nodes in G have degree D. So if you assume that every node has degree D, then AX should be equal to this D. That is what here it is said. So AX equal to lambda X. To solve that, lambda simply will become D. And when lambda equal to D, your X should become 1, 1, 1. So you are getting one pair for this lambda and eigenvalue lambda is D and eigenvector is 1, 1, 1. So one example is giving how we will compute this. Still you have any doubt here? Is giving simply example, let's say, if you assume this condition, you know that right side you should get a vector with all D values. You know that what is A also. You know the definition of what is AX, that will come exactly all D's, right? Because you are summing up only neighbors, how many neighbors it has.
Yes, sir. Clear.
And all values of node values, the weights are you are putting for each node, weight is only 1, something like that, label or values. So then you are getting AX equal to lambda D. If you want to solve, then lambda will become simply D here. So graph on, this is one example of it. He is not talking much mathematics. He is giving one example. What lambda, what eigenvector lambda and what corresponding eigenvector you will get. Eigenvalue and eigenvector. One pair is giving, provided if your graph G have degree D and graph G have for all its nodes degree D. So what if G is not connected? If G is not connected, G has two components. Each is D-regular. So what is the definition of D-regular? It's a D-regular graph definition, this is. What is the D-regular graph definition? The first sentence.
All nodes have same degree.
Have same degree, that is D.
Hmm.
That is D, then you will get this. And if it has two components, each D regular means?
In this case, D value is 2 for each.
There are two components for that graph. They are not connected, but the connected components are D-regular graphs. So what are some eigenvectors? For this, he is giving some examples. He's throwing some examples. So X put all ones on A and zeros on B, or vice versa. Then you can get X prime is 1, 1, 0, 0. Then A X prime equal to D's. And remaining things you'll get zeros. Then X double prime, you make a first component all zeros, second component nodes, all ones. Then A X double prime equal to 0, 0, D, D, D. If you do this, why you are getting zeros? Because from that component, you will not have any edges right here.
Yes.
So the neighbors, this is not neighbor for any previous component nodes. So that's why you'll get zeros, summing up all those things. Here you are getting D's for this. Only within that component, you will get D. When you are going outside, because they are not connected, you will get zeros. So, and so in both cases, the corresponding lambda equal to D. So if you have two D-regular components for a connected graph, some of the examples of what lambda values and eigenvectors will get are given here. So lambda equal to D, your eigenvector may be 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, or all zeros in the beginning, then ones for the second component. So a bit of intuition, lambda 1 equal to lambda 2. Then you get two values, lambda 1 equal to lambda 2, you'll get like this. If lambda 1 is not equal to lambda 2, then they may have connections between them, between two components. If they are not connected and both are D regular, we are getting lambda equal to D in both cases, right?
Yes.
So he's saying that if both components, that is not connected, it has two components and both have D regular, then you'll get both lambda values same, or at least lambda values are same. Then you may not get lambda values same, but you may get closed lambda values if they are connected component, the entire graph is, but still you make two D regular graphs. This we did. Okay. Then matrix representations. You know that how the matrix is used to represent a graph. This will have n by n matrix with all zeros or ones. Then the diagonal, we are assuming that there are no self loops or self links. Then diagonal will become zeros. The remaining places you can find ones or zeros. And this matrix is represented like this. Verify, is it represented correctly? Is there a link between 1 and 2?
Yes.
So at the place of 1 and 2, you should have 1, and 2 and 1 also you should have 1. That is what it is, a symmetric matrix also. Important properties, symmetric matrix, eigenvectors are all real and orthogonal. So when you have only values ones and zeros, for that matrix, you will always have real values. So you don't get complex values, because let's say when you solve a polynomial equation, sometimes you may get complex roots. But all these are positives, ones and zeros. That's why you'll get mathematically all real. And orthogonal means?
Product is -1.
No. What is x and y in regular Etsy? Then orthogonal means what is cos theta between x-axis and y-axis?
Cos 90, 0.
0. So orthogonal means the dot product is 0. Okay. Because it's in xy, you should remember, for one you will have y values 0, other one x values 0, right? When you multiply those vectors falling on x-axis and y-axis, you are always get one component 0, right? The multiplication product. So that's why you'll get zeros. So orthogonal means 90 degrees, remember. Parallel means two vectors are parallel means parallel 0 degree. So degree of matrix D here, n by n is diagonal matrix. This is n by n diagonal matrix. So what is degree of D? First one is connected to how many other nodes? 3. Second one is connected. So this diagonal will have exactly n elements. So this degree matrix, you represent another matrix, only remaining value 0, n by n matrix, but only on diagonal you put the degree of that. D equal to dii, dii equal to degree of node I. Then we will define what is Laplacian matrix, L. N by n symmetry matrix. So what is trivial eigenpair? That is L equal to D minus A. So if you take the right side, they're defining a L matrix. That L matrix equal to D minus A. So your A matrix was this, and the D matrix is this. Then D minus A, if you take this D minus A, you're getting -1, -1. Why are you getting -1, -1 here? Your this D matrix. So simply you need to see D minus A. All zeros you have right here in D, except the diagonal. Can you see this D matrix?
Yes, sir.
So when you subtract A from D, 0, these are only I have positive values, right? These positive values, when subtracted from 0, what do they become? Negative values with the same quantity. So that is what you are getting. All are become now negative values in this D minus A. So what is trivial eigenvector? X equal to 1 to 1, then Lx equal to 0, and so lambda equal to lambda 1 equal to 0. So this is trivial, means without doing much mathematics, you can find one eigenvalue 0 and eigenvector is all ones. An important properties, eigenvalues are non-negative real numbers, eigenvectors are real orthogonal. That is what we got from the mathematics. So for this type of matrix, always you'll get real eigenvalues and orthogonal eigenvectors for those real values. So we are finding our eigenvalues for trivial eigenpair for L. So Lx equal to 0x. Then anyway, you are multiplying with 0. So this 0x also will become 0. And then it is satisfying L lambda Lx equal to lambda x, lambda equal to 0. So 0 is the eigenvalue. And your vector 1, 1, whatever vector you take, that becomes the eigenvector. That is the trivial, means for any, it satisfies for any matrix, not only this matrix. So lambda 2 as optimization problem. So how do we find out this lambda 1, lambda 2? Lambda 2 equal to minimum of x, x transpose. Again, let's say we are going to set up, how do we, because we don't have x values, what values we attach. So minimum of x, x transpose mx by x transpose x. Then what is the meaning of minimum of x transpose Lx on G? So x transpose Lx equal to, then you have L matrix, you take x L matrix, then x transpose Lx. If you do some mathematics, you will get this equation. Ij belongs to E, xi square plus xj square minus 2xi xj. That is nothing but sigma Ij belongs to E, xi minus xj whole square. So finally, after doing some mathematics, this x transpose Lx will become all edges Ij belongs to E and their difference squares. So what else do we know about x? X is unit vector, so sigma I xi square equal to 1. So this is 1 is assuming x is unit vector. Unit vector is nothing but you will have only ones in one place and remaining things are zeros. So x is orthogonal to first eigenvector 1, 1, 1. Thus sigma I xi equal to 1, sigma I xi equal to 0. So we are interested only how do we get or what is the finally we are getting lambda equal to minimum of all labelings of nodes I, so that sigma xi equal to 0. All labelings of nodes I, so that sigma xi equal to 0, then Ij belongs to E xi minus xj whole square by xi square. So we want to assign values xi to nodes I such that few edges cross 0. So this whole thing we are doing because we want to assign values xi to nodes I such that few edges cross 0. Here it's in the right side graph, there is xi and xj. 0 is there. Cross 0 means you are getting a connection between two different groups or partitions. So we want to give this lambda as all labelings of nodes I so that sigma xi equal to 0. So these are all positive, means each xi should be 0. So only you take each xi equal to 0. Then those where you don't have connections, right? Xi means. Then you take only those edges. Then there is some confusion here. X is unit vector. Usually unit vector means the norm is 1. For which norm is 1, that vector is called unit vector. So norm is nothing but under root of summation of all component squares. So, but anyway, it is 1. So root 1 also 1. So if x is unit vector, then it should satisfy sigma I xi square equal to 1. Then x is orthogonal to first eigenvector. So the trivial eigenvector we already found, lambda equal to 0 and 1, 1. So we said all vectors are orthogonal to this. Thus, orthogonal means dot product should be 0. So sigma I xi, each time you are multiplying with 1 only because your second vector is having 1 value, then sigma I xi equal to 0. Okay. Then all labelings of nodes I so that sigma xi equal to 0. So Harideep, for your question, what values you can assign for x, that also should satisfy. When you add up those values, you should get 0. Okay.
Right. So
Sigma xi equal to 0 means when you add up all those values, you should get 0. Yeah. The assignment of the xi initial values, whatever that is. Then ij belongs to A, then take the difference square divided by sigma I xi square. So you will get that lambda. This lambda 2 will help us. We want to assign values xi to nodes I such that few edges cross 0. Cross 0 is nothing but here it's external edges. So back to finding the optimal cut. Where are we using this lambda 2? So node as dqdi. So value xi square need not be summed of di times, but each edge ij is 2 endpoints. So we need xi square plus xj square. Okay. So how to get this lambda 2 is this is one method. You get all possible assignments of values to x vector so that sigma xi should become 0. For all such possibilities, you get for which assignment you will get this minimum. That minimum value is called lambda 2. Then you will get ax equal to lambda x, right? Then you are assigning some values for each node. So then back to finding the optimal cut, express partition AB as a vector. And he'll show that it's how do we use that. So express partition AB as a vector, yi equal to +1 if I belongs to A, -1 if I belongs to B. That is nothing but you are putting yi equal to 1 means they are belongs to A, yi 0 or -1 means they belongs to B. We can minimize the cut of the partition by finding a non-trivial vector x that minimizes y belongs to -1 + 1 power n, means n values you will get, each value may be -1 or +1. This is the meaning of this is, what is the meaning of this? Y belongs to n-dimensional vector, okay? Values are either -1 or +1. If you remember your regular expressions, there also will write in brackets. It may take either of these values, right?
Yes.
Then n times means n values, it will take either of these values. Then this is the y. Then this is the, take all those vectors y, either it has -1 or 1 as components, n components. Then you compute yi minus yj whole square. So ij belongs to A. So you take only those edges. For each edge, you take yi minus yj whole square, for which you get this as minimum. That y you need to select now. So yi equal to -1, yj equal to +1 as 0 here. So minimum of y belongs to Rn, fy equal to ij belongs to E, yi minus yj whole square. This you can write in terms of the y transpose Ly. You know what is L matrix. So lambda 2 equal to, this lambda 2 is nothing but minimum of y, fy. The minimum value of fy is given by the second smallest eigenvalue, lambda 2 of the Laplacian matrix L. So how do you get lambda 2? We have seen how do we get lambda 2 from Laplacian matrix? X equal to, you need to find out that vector x equal to minimum, all those y's you take. The optimal solution for y is given by the corresponding eigenvector x, referred to as the field vector. So when you are trying to solve Ax equal to lambda x, you need to get lambda. Which x is the optimal? You get that lambda 2 from the previous equation. Whatever this lambda 2 gives, corresponding vector to the eigenvalue lambda 2, that is the optimal solution for y. Because Ax equal to y in the beginning we wrote. This is Rayleigh's theorem. So how do we implement these? Three basic stages, these spectral clustering algorithms. Construct a matrix representation of the graph, decomposition, compute eigenvalues and eigenvectors of the matrix, map each point to a lower dimensional representation based on one or more eigenvectors. So even if you get several eigenvectors, you take only one or two vectors so that you are reducing the dimensions. Assign points to two or more clusters based on the new representation. So if you want two clusters, you take only two eigenvalues. If you want three clusters, you get three eigenvalues. So based on those values, you cluster them. So pre-processing, build Laplacian matrix. This the whole procedure is given. How do you proceed this? See, pre-processing, build Laplacian matrix L of the graph. It is simple, right? This step is, you need to get A matrix, you need to get D matrix. D matrix is nothing but diagonally all the degrees of those nodes. Then D minus A is your L. So once you get this decomposition, find eigenvalues lambda and eigenvectors x of the matrix L. There are packages to find out whenever you have matrix A, its eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So you find all eigenvalues and eigenvectors, lambdas and x. Map vertices to corresponding components of lambda 2. So you take the second eigenvalue and eigenvector. So for that, so map vertices to corresponding components. So first node will have now score 0.3, whatever that 2 will have 0.6 like that, you get the lambda 2. Then this is important step. Once you get this, grouping, sort components of reduced one-dimensional vector identify clusters by splitting the sorted vector in two. Now you need to sort these things. If you sort these things, you'll get minus 0.3, minus 0.6, minus 0.3, minus 0.3, then 0.3, then 0.3, 0.6. If you want two clusters, you will draw a line wherever you get exactly half points above or points down. Sort components of reduced one-dimensional vector, identify clusters by splitting the sorted vector in two. To how to choose a splitting point now. So naive approaches split at 0 or median value. So one way of not equal elements, in this wherever you get 0, split there at 0 or split 0 or median. What is median value?
Sorry, sir, can you repeat that?
What is median value? He's saying that, right? No, this, I'm interested whether you understand this procedure, right? Ultimately, we are going to implement this, right? You know how to find out L matrix now?
Yes.
L matrix is nothing but D minus A. A is the graph representation. And you need to find out lambda values and X vectors, eigenvectors and eigenvalues. There are packages to find out once you have a matrix. For Laplacian matrix, you find out eigenvalues and eigenvectors, okay? Then he is saying that select the second eigenvector, the corresponding, you need to sort them eigenvalues, lambda 1 less than lambda 2 like that. Take the second lowest eigenvalue because first eigenvalue is 0, remember, that is trivial. So we don't consider that. Second lowest eigenvalue, corresponding vector you take, then sort that. Once you sort, then you can split into clusters. Either anything less than 0 is 1, less than or equal to 0 is one cluster, and greater than 0 is other cluster. Another method is saying that split based on median value. So what is the meaning of median value?
In the sorted order, middle.
Yeah, which will divide exactly half points above and half nodes down, right?
Yes.
That is the median. So that is one approach. So more expensive approaches attempt to minimize normalized cut in one dimension. Then again, it's a you attempt to minimize normalized cut in one dimension, sweep over ordering of nodes induced by the eigenvector. This is split at 0 is becoming like this: cluster A positive points, cluster B negative points. You are basing this. This is nothing but it's the attempt to minimize normalized cut in one dimension. So whatever you get these values, so based on these values, you try to get in one dimension, but this is more expensive, means more, it takes more time. But simple thing is either split at 0 or split at median. Then spectral partitioning, so value of x2 and rank in x2. Okay. So some more explanations are given, how you are getting components of x3, components of x1. Then k-way spectral clustering, how do we partition a graph into k clusters? So two basic approaches: recursive bipartitioning. First you make 2, then make 2 by 4, something like that. Recursively apply bipartitioning algorithms in a hierarchical divisive manner. Disadvantage: inefficient, unstable. Cluster multiple eigenvectors. Build a reduced space from multiple eigenvectors. Commonly used in recent papers. This is again advanced study. The last one is trawling. Okay. Searching for small communities in the web graph. What is the signature of a community discussion in a web graph? I think we will discuss this in the next thing. We have already crossed 12:30, and it is a different concept. Again, you may need some time to consume this. So I will see whether I can cover along with the next lecture or next discussion. Otherwise, you need to go through this and come back if you have any doubts. Even if we continue now, I don't think it's